Yay!
Alright, 4-month update part 2, here we go. She's got a candy cane.
Went for a walk, got a candy cane, here we go. Still in Washington, Chehalis.
Blackberries!
First
Yum.
1,000 trails.
Yeah.
It took us like an hour at least to find out.
Yeah.
Or not
Yeah.
find it.
So a lot of the 1,000 trails, memberships, it's kind of like you have a reservation, but it's first come, first served. And so at that park,
Hello.
it was really hard for us to find a spot that we fit and had hookups.
Yeah, one of the big things for us again is just length. Overall length can be a challenge. But that one was length as well. We could find a few that had length maybe, but hookups is another big deal. And actually the one we ended up in was not marked on the map that we had as having full hookup. So we didn't even look at it when we drove past it like 4 times.
And it was steep, and you didn't like it was steep. But actually, I really liked the spot that we ended up in. I really did. We were driving around so much, you saw how many people were up there, and they were all together, and we were closer to the cabins, and there was only a couple actual RV spots there, and the cabins were usually empty. So we actually had more privacy and quiet. But I liked that. So they had mini golf. They did offer some movies and stuff. You guys started to go, but then didn't stay. I think the biggest thing there was the blackberries. So many blackberries. Like the whole park honestly was being overgrown with blackberries. But they were prime picking, and so we picked
Hello. Yes,
tons
hi.
of blackberries.
They look so good.
We did. We made a pie. Did we make pie? I think we made a pie.
Yeah, I don't think I made it, yeah.
We made some jam. And then we just froze some.
Ate some.
Ate a ton. Yeah.
They're really good.
That was exciting to have so many blackberries.
That was probably the place that there was the most different areas for us to walk across. I mean, there was a lot of trails. It was a huge campground. The campground was huge. I don't know how many sites they had. It was huge.
That's true. Oh, there was some neat wooded spots too the way through. We didn't do much there. I remember you and I ran into town to get groceries.
They got our water off, finally.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
went to fix something right next to us and didn't tell us they were shutting our water off. I
Mm,
don't think we
they did.
actually did too much in that area.
We
They
did.
did tell
We
us
did.
that they were shutting it off.
But then the next
Yeah, we did,
couple
yeah.
places are some of my favorites.
Mhm.
We entered into Oregon.
Oh.
First stop was Pacific City, which
Yeah.
was also another 1,000 trails, and we also drove around a really long time too.
That was
Really
really,
nice.
I mean, Chehalis and Pacific City were both really hilly. So,
Is that the place where we had, if we wanted to, we had to go to the bathhouse to use
Yeah.
basically anything?
Yeah.
But I didn't like that.
yeah, we didn't have hookups there, did we?
So it was our first time not having full hookups.
We didn't have 50 amp either.
We only,
yeah,
we only
yeah,
had 30
we
amp
had 30.
service.
Yep.
And so we could use like our bathrooms, but we didn't use our shower. We didn't use our bathrooms as much, and we didn't use our showers at all. And it was nice because the bathrooms were actually right behind us, in a good location, and they had been just brand new, recently renovated, so it was okay. They were nice. But that's where the Pacific Ocean is,
Yep.
y'all.
Yeah,
And
That was-
jellyfish.
fantastic.
We drove right down on the ocean, on the beach.
Thought we
there-
saw a snake, but we didn't.
Right, freak some
Yeah.
people out.
Kelp. Kelp.
Lots of strange things in the ocean, some of which wash up on shore.
The ocean, I think, I guess I can't speak for everybody, but probably most of us would say that was a top highlight, getting to the ocean. I mean, it's just nothing like what we've seen. We were at Lake Superior, and we did go to some neat beaches there. Actually, we didn't talk about, but it's just like nothing that we ever seen back home. And I think it was a highlight.
When I think of stuff that I miss the most, I miss the Oregon coast the most.
Yeah, but the only problem with that is too much water.
Lots of ocean. It doesn't.
He
It
meant the
doesn't.
humidity. And like
Oh
that.
yeah, you can mention that in a second. It doesn't always. It's not always very sunny there.
A lot of fog. Yeah, because we went whale watching. Was that out of no, that was
That wasn't out of
That was
Pacific
later.
City. Pacific City was when we went up to Tillamook.
Oh yeah, Tillamook.
Ah, Tillamook.
Tillamook.
Tillamook ice cream.
We discovered it at the start because we couldn't find our usual, and we have now decided that this is our brand.
Don't tell me that.
So
I
Tillamook
can't
ice
even
cream.
eat it.
Got to go on a
Okay.
tour of the Tillamook. Saw a lighthouse or two.
We saw one.
Um,
We went on a hike the same day we went to the Tillamook. It was like
Oh yeah,
some
the waterfall.
state area.
Yeah,
oh yeah, the
I
short
forgot
hike
about
back to
that.
that tall. That was a tall
that
waterfall.
was a tall waterfall. Not a lot of water, but a tall waterfall.
Hey, we're trying to break the rules and go farther than they were allowed to.
I'm trying to distinguish between Florence, which is the next
Yeah.
one, and Pacific City, which it was easier to get to the ocean in Pacific City,
Yes.
and that's the day that we had a really nice, like 70-some degree day,
Good
and we
size.
walked for like 4 hours down the ocean, and we saw one sea lion.
Oh,
Herbert.
Herbert!
Herbert followed us all over
The
the place.
birds also followed Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
Collected a few shells. That's not. We didn't do sledding there. No. Okay, so then we went to Florence, which is still right on the. Do you want to talk about the? Probably now. You can talk about the water coming
I
out.
don't know what I got. You can ask them.
Okay, so anyway, we went to Florence.
And we ended up leaving Florence earlier than expected. We'll go back and talk about what we did there, but the water that he's talking about. Do you want to say the moisture that?
So Oregon coast is partially rainforest, and so it was always humid, and it rained the first day we were there a little bit. But one of the things that we ran into, and this we have to recall too, that our heater was not working, our furnace. We had our fireplace, but not our furnace. And at this was South Jetty.
Yep.
Yeah, at South Jetty we didn't have full hookup either.
No, that's when we got the.
That's when we got the sewer wagon. Yep. But anyway, without any extra heat being provided, a lot of moisture was starting to build up, and we were getting moisture in different areas, and so we decided actually to leave. What about a week early? A week earlier than we had anticipated. So, which turns out is probably it was sad. It was very sad, but it turned out it was probably a good thing because of different weather patterns and things. But we definitely love the Oregon coast. Matter of fact, at one point there were some campsites that were for sale. They're just like maybe 4 campsites on the ocean itself, just off the highway. And I said to him, I said, let's look into those. Let's buy one. And nobody else was with me.
I was with you.
You were with me, yeah, boy. Yeah, but that's how neat it really was, how much we enjoyed it. So probably the thing that I remember, one of the big things I remember was the chowder.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
It was good.
I don't know if you're visible right now.
Oh, yeah.
I remember.
Hey, warm
I remember things I went to school with. Do that way.
Sure.
Definitely don't want to give
Because
them
I had to go to
powder ever again.
the library there to measure, took my measuring tape and measured
The
stuff
other-
for ADA compliance.
The other thing for me, really, was hauling the sewer wagon. Because it took well over an hour to get all of the front and the back tanks dumped out.
Multiple hours.
Yeah, multiple hours to do it. So that was a big portion of my day. Yeah.
And that's still, we stayed there
Yeah.
longer.
We still showered.
At the previous one, we didn't have the sewer wagon, but we just went to a dump station on the way out of the campground. We don't have tanks. But then the sewer wagon, we were staying there longer. We still used those bathroom and shower facilities
This time we had
most of the time.
shortcuts.
But even
though.
just
That was
running
fun.
the kitchen,
For like 2 days.
the sink and the water, it accumulates. So,
This is the one.
okay, so the chowder.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, one of them.
We're not giving
We
it
did
to
a lot
them.
of stuff there.
Yeah.
Chowder,
Boarding.
sand dunes,
Sand dunes, boarding.
I like
whale
Newport
watching,
most.
Let's talk
Fred Meyer, grocery store outlet,
Got
We-
pumpkins.
We had
got
pumpkins.
pumpkins.
We went to that lake.
Went to that
We did
lighthouse.
sandboarding at the lake, but we also were just
The
there
only
for a
problem
while,
I
so-
have with the sandboarding is I hurt my thumb really bad, and I'm never doing that again.
I fell face first. The sand took a while.
I thought I
to
had
come
a
out.
concussion. It was a pretty funny video. I hear.
My thumb was broken.
We tried. We were told you could pretty much sled down the sand in just about anything. So the grocery store actually had inflatable sleds and or tubes. So we got one. But it
That
didn't
didn't
work.
even.
So we ended up renting the wooden, like just not too much to them.
Just plywood.
And the key also was the wax. But that combination made them work a lot better. So we rented a sled and a snowboard, and did that a couple different times
Yep.
in a couple different places.
Yeah.
One a little steep, y'all.
Yeah, it was.
Steep.
Yeah.
I went down once and I was like, I'm done. I'm not walking back
Oh,
up.
they were so hard to walk up.
They were hard to walk up.
Yeah.
They were
That's why I preferred the first place, like just over those
Sure.
little sand dunes.
Yep. So
I
There
went
wasn't
down
too much to go
once.
up, but
I
like
was
it
gonna
still
show
is.
about how to go down them. I went down once. I hurt my thumb so bad I didn't ever want to do it again.
Andy
It
has it.
hurts still, and that was like a month ago.
we got to the ocean just to walk on the beach multiple times. Like you said, jellyfish. We had to make sure we didn't step on them, even though it was maybe believed that the ones that they were there at the time didn't have stingers.
No, you could see that.
We went to the old lighthouse and then the new lighthouse, and then
That was in-
accidentally.
Wasn't it?
Where?
It wasn't. It was a day trip. It wasn't. In
Oh yeah, it
Florence.
wasn't in Florence. It was just when we were staying in Florence. We drove up to Newport, saw the lighthouses, and accidentally discovered the tide pools.
Oh,
those were
Those were the best.
sea
Sea
anemones.
lions.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
might have seen Herbert's families.
Maybe.
What
Um,
else?
It was a very cloudy, misty day, so you couldn't see out too far. That was the day we also went tried whale watching.
Emmett saw one.
I
Nobody
did.
else did. Yeah.
Definitely. Because the boat stopped. I just saw something pop out in front of a boat. Because we were watching from a different spot. See it pop out just in front of a boat. The boat all of a sudden stops. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I just saw a whale. And so it looked cool.
You're
Very
so lucky.
cool.
So lucky. You want to talk more about the tide pools? Because I think it's a favorite.
Oh, I love this. So the tide pools, it was really cool. We happened to stumble upon them just kind of randomly, and there was a ranger there, and she said, "You can touch anything in here." And so then they in the tide pools were my favorite was the sea anemones. There were sea urchins, sea stars.
Sea anemones was definitely
The meatloaf thing.
Oh
Meatloaf
yeah,
thing?
meatloaf.
Walking meatloaf.
Walking
I don't remember
meatloaf.
this.
They look like a sweet potato. She's like, you're not too far off. It's nicknamed actually called the wandering meatloaf.
I
didn't
don't
see it.
remember.
You can look it up.
It was
I'm not sure I want
Those were
to.
kind of the main things as far as the tide pools. They had barnacles and
The
you
little
know,
sea anemones, they tried to grab you and eat you.
Yeah, that was.
Oh yeah, little
the
hermit
funniest
crab,
oh yeah,
thing
little
ever.
fish.
little fish.
they were trying to eat you.
I like the sea anemones.
I
the
agree
best.
with that.
Yeah,
They were
cool.
so fun
They
to
were
touch.
And if you touched them like just on the backside where they were not green and trying to eat you, they would either close up or open up.
They were trying. They were
The sea
sticky at
stars?
some point. They were so fun to touch.
They were fun to touch. The sea stars, some of them were just massive.
Yeah.
They were so big, you know. It was neat.
So an orange one, a purple one, an orange one, a purple one, and a red one.
Okay.
You mentioned chowder, but you didn't say what kind of chowder it was.
Crab
Crab
chowder.
Yeah, it was crab chowder.
We're never giving it all
That was
again.
kind of a
For
unique
one
experience. We went into downtown Florence, Old Town Florence, and there's some neat shops there.
We bought a bunch of saltwater taffy.
Oh
did,
yeah,
yeah.
that was good.
But we actually, when we went to this, place to get chowder, that was our destination, and that was right on the pier. And we walked down and ordered our chowder. As we walked in, there was a big tank, basically a
Called
big.
Crab Alcatraz. It was literally a child's kiddie pool.
Yup. Just sitting in there with all the crabs. So we ordered we got some chowder and we had some cheesy bread. And as we were sitting there, because you just sit basically facing the little shack that this was all done in, there was a sea lion, like, I don't know, probably 10 yards away.
It could have been Herbert.
It could have been Herbert. It could have been.
There was also a small jellyfish. I called him light bulb jellyfish.
Yeah, there were some small jellies down there. So that was really a neat experience to have seafood for one thing, because we don't get to do that a lot with Amanda's allergies. But also
Sound like
just
you're blaming her.
I am.
Okay.
And the downtown area was really neat too. It's a lot of little art shops and all sorts of different things. It was kind of neat.
That's where we went on the Hobbit Trail too.
Oh yeah, the Hobbit Trail. Yeah.
Which really felt like hobbits lived there.
And the crab cemetery.
The crab
Oh,
cemetery.
Yeah.
Crabs.
And the
In the Dead Sea
dead
Lion.
seal.
The sea lion that got eaten by a bunch of seagulls.
Wait, how about Grant's Pass?
Good vintage
Pass.
stores. Yeah.
Yeah, they did have good vintage stores. We went again downtown and
So it was sad to leave the ocean to go to Grant's Pass.
Grant's
That's
Pass
the spot in the middle of the
Yeah.
city.
Yeah.
where we had
Where
In-N-Out Burger.
Where we
That
forgot.
was disgusting.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't
It was-
disgusting.
I think the burger was good. The fries, you need the salt.
I'll just tell you one
Fries
thing.
need the salt.
I'll just tell you one thing. Don't get an In-N-Out grilled cheese. All it is just a bun and cheese, and the cheese isn't even.
What do you think a
Nothing-
grilled cheese is, child?
No, it's literally just an actual burger bun. No, it's not even toasted, and it's just so gross. I didn't
It's a
even eat it.
cheese sandwich.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The campground itself was very clean, small,
Yeah.
but right in the center of the city. Really hard to find a place to walk the dogs. You guys went downtown, antique stores, you said, and the
Yeah.
phosphate sodas.
Yeah.
Yeah, the phosphate sodas were good, but the Wisconsin one was the best.
Yeah,
Wisconsin
we
was
got.
the best.
Wisconsin one's the best. We got one named after our state.
They only stayed one there, right?
Yep.
One of
I
the
want to tell a story about that child that came in.
What?
You know, you should
Oh.
tell
What?
The guy who said, "Why isn't there one called the Massachusetts?" And they said, "I don't know."
Yeah, it was a young child.
I don't think it was a young child.
It
I'm
was.
pretty sure it was.
Was a
Jason
kid.
had to go drive back to Florence.
To go get
Oh,
her.
To get her
yeah.
washed up.
That was what, 2.5 hours one
More
way?
I think you said
I
like
think it was
3.
Was it 3 hours one way? Yeah, I forgot our surge protector, which is if you get into RVing, one of the first things that everybody recommends buying is that surge protector. And actually, I think when we were at Pacific City, it helped us because we were having problems with the electrical on the 30 amp side of things. But anyway, I had to drive back. We just chanced it for that night, and the next day I drove all the way back and went to Grocery Outlet one last time and got some more oat muffins and then came back. So that was a long day.
Now I'm in charge of being bossy and making sure they didn't leave anything behind. And that's my favorite part about this trip now. So I get to boss them around saying, "Did you bring everything? Is it in there?"
Speaking of favorites, I think
Except
the
for
next
Buffalo.
place is still all of our favorite campgrounds anyways, and
Yeah,
that's
California.
Hats Creek,
Actually,
California.
K-O-A!
K-O-O!
Hey!
The first thing I remember about this is I have
That's
a
my second favorite.
RV GPS, and
Everything else is best.
it has searchable KOAs. This one did not pop up on the GPS, and so I put it in, and it
That's
was
brand new.
right. I didn't know that.
Brand new as a kid.
Yeah, I didn't know that it was brand new as a KOA. So we're driving. I'm like, I sure hope there's a campground here somewhere, because we were literally in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it was just absolutely nowhere.
Was this the start of the giant pine cones?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I call them war pine cones because they're pretty much indestructible.
They're huge.
They're huge and pretty much indestructible. Wait, where's the bag?
One of them's supposed to be on display, but the rest of them are packed away.
So-
I packed up the bag.
Hat Creek is near Mount Shasta. So if you're looking for a really cool place to go, we highly recommend it. The KOA was fantastic. We did 2 different activities there. We went to the Subway Cave, which is a lava tube cave. You can look that up and see what that happens
That was
to be. And then we
I
ventured
love
back
that
the other
cave.
way. Yep. You did.
Owen actually wanted to go through twice. He normally doesn't like
3
things on
times,
this
suck
trip.
up.
3 times.
He doesn't normally like stuff.
And then we went to a California state park where they had a 122-foot waterfall. And actually, at the beginning, it was just me and Ethan and Emmett, if I remember right. And we came back and freaked Amanda out and said she had to get in the car right away, and took her and Belle back up there because it was just such a neat area.
It freaked me out because you were like, get in the car, we gotta go. Like, there was no explanation.
Yeah, I was just get in the car and go, boy.
We're already on edge because there's like forest fires around and.
Oh, it was fine. But that,
It wasn't.
hands down, was our, I think, everybody's favorite.
Just because probably because it reminded us somewhat of home. It was woodsy. There was a lot of space.
But Starlink still worked even.
Yeah, we didn't
Yeah.
have cell service, but we had Starlink, and it was actually really peaceful.
Didn't do
Yeah.
cell service.
I
Couple of
love
dog
the
parks.
woods.
Paved. You guys got to ride your bikes around because it was paved.
That was
The
lovely.
whole back section was woods that we could walk in if we wanted to. It was just calm. And clean and
I
pretty.
love woods. I love the woods.
In a pond.
That's so nice.
Then
Spark.
What?
we went to Sparks, Nevada, just outside of Reno.
Ah, yes.
No.
It wasn't the worst.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't the worst. It just was different because.
Very hoity-toity.
Yeah, it was very hoity-toity.
The campground that we stayed at, not Sparks in general. Sparks in general, I quite liked the city.
Yeah. There.
Um,
Yeah. Yep, I did too.
The campground itself was very much what you would call an RV resort. It was clean. They had a neat dog park. They had some like giant rocks and stuff, but other than that, there was no place to walk the dogs. You had to like walk across a busy street and into a neighborhood. But the biggest thing we did there, besides going to Costco, was Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And got puppy dog food. More puppy dog
We
food.
did that,
It's
He's like,
important, isn't it?
he's like,
like
what?
Halloween thing, we
Yeah,
saw
that's
the
right, I
Wienermobile.
forgot. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mom's favorite part of
That
the
was smart,
trip.
wasn't it?
It was Sparks.
That was
Went to a
Mom's
little
favorite
holiday
part of the trip. It was
Halloween festival market thing.
And there was that
I got
museum
candy.
right there too.
I got candy. And then we went to a
Talk louder
museum
enough.
about
You gotta be louder
wars.
than them. Anybody else want to comment more on Lake Tahoe?
It
No.
was very pretty. I loved it.
Yeah, it was very pretty. The town itself
Very pretty.
was busy.
Weirdly set up.
Oh my gosh, and weirdly set up, yes. And so that was a little stressful.
It would be better if you're just walking around the downtown versus driving. They had some really cute things. They were setting up an ice rink and
Oh,
we could have
yes,
snow
yes.
dancing.
Took us forever to
That
find
place
the
was a little
visitor
busy
center.
for my liking.
The lake itself was huge, really pretty, but I honestly think the best views of seeing it were driving around the lake, so you could be up a little higher to see down and see the different colors of the blues.
We did a hike there,
Yeah, we only spent one.
There was poplar trees there.
and Ethan and I saw bears.
Oh,
Pretty up
yeah.
close.
Zoe.
And
Belle,
Zoe and
Belle,
Zoe.
Belle, you want to tell them the history about that man that lived out there once?
The
guy?
tall guy.
Oh,
And Vikings in.
Captain,
Like-
them were my toes.
Captain Them's my toes.
Yeah.
Yep, he
Well,
lived.
he,
He lived
he-
near Vikings Hill.
He, that island that we went to and the ruins, he lived there, and then he had to
That's really
escape
his
one
name?
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen. And he had to amputate his own toes, and so then he took to showing them to his guests, and he's like, "Them's my toes."
I call them Captain Them.
And now
I missed
It's-
all of that. That's probably
that was
good.
a what? But
Oh,
now it's by Vikings
you might
Home.
not be visible.
Oh yeah. But now I think it's
It
by.
was still Vikings. That toes
Okay,
were
so it was
like-
still Vikings Home.
It was cold out.
So we left Sparks, not knowing where we were going next, and ended up boondocking.
That was pretty
yeah,
fun.
that's right.
Boondocking was fun. I mean,
So
it was a
boondocking
little
is-
creepy. We kind of were 100 miles away from Area 51.
Also, there was like a random 2 cars that just pulled in and then pulled out and went back the same way they were going.
It was scary.
It was-
Dad told us to run inside.
I just did
Oh,
not. I
you
said go
did.
inside.
You
Yeah,
did.
but you
freaked
said it
us all out,
very
guys.
forcefully. You were concerned for us, which is great and all, But like,
What was I supposed to do? Hey, go check those people out. Say hello.
No. They were probably.
Anyway, we
Mom said
boondocked.
this, they were probably going to watch the stars, but then we looked here.
It got late. We set up late. Boondocking is where we're not hooked up to anything. We're completely self-sufficient.
So we hooked up to it.
A lot of people like it
we had a
because
generator.
it's free,
Yeah, that's what I
or
meant.
you get to get into kind of remote places. It's sort of free. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't have to pay a campground, but because we had to run our generator for heat,
And for the fridge.
we had to. Did we have heat then at that point?
Yeah, because we stopped at
Yeah, we stopped at
Susanville
Susanville.
between
Oh, in between.
Sparks and
Yes. Okay, so
Yeah.
we did have heat finally at that point.
some of us did. Well, actually, we had our heater then too.
So there's still things that go into paying for in boondocking, but
Yep.
and then our generator went out in the middle of the night.
Not
Yeah,
the-
about
it was 5:30.
5 in the morning, and then I couldn't get it started on gas, so we had to use propane.
Yep. The only problem we had with our heater that we bought is it's broken.
The heater
Because you
for the
dropped
bathroom, they
it.
say it's broken.
It is broken. It's like 4 minutes, it's on, and then 3 seconds later it turns off.
You probably turned on the cycle
But
timer.
then the next time we traveled, we broke like every travel rule we have. We drove too far. We drove too many miles, too many hours, and in the dark, and ended up in Hurricane, Utah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Hey,
K-O-A!
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 Hey! Hey! Oh! Hey!
K-O-A!
I'm trying to reach out to them so we could be like their KOA family.
Sponsor.
It's
like,
Yeah.
Hey, you guys want to sponsor us?
That was a really nice place. We came in the dark, so we didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they ended up getting a little bit further behind, and we came in and we're setting up in the dark, and they came in later than we did, and again, you just didn't have any idea what was going to happen. The next morning you wake up and
Across the road was all this red rock mountainy thing. They don't call them mountains, they just call them like cliffs. But it was amazing, and we had no idea that was there.
Phil, the best part,
Best part was the pool. It was heated. It had lights. It was so cool.
yep, they have a heated pool.
So even on the first night we came in, he got to swim because it was open late.
Yep.
Until 10.
Goat heads were an issue.
Oh yeah.
We didn't see any snakes, but they were talking. We were said if we went down the paths, we'd see snakes, and that wasn't the issue. We couldn't even walk down the paths because there were so many.
We
goat
did see our
heads.
first tarantula there, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dinosaur
The
footprints.
And the dinosaur footprints, yep.
So across
Belle
the
wanted
street
to
from
go
our
see a
KOA,
cemetery.
I almost said hotel. No. Was the Red Cliffs recreation area, which is one of my favorite spots in that whole. We went to Zion, but I actually think I really liked. I like the Red Cliffs.
I would like to be in pop 6 bike tires.
And then I popped another one. I popped one last 2 kilograms ago.
We've had bike tire issues with wheel heads. Yeah, Red Cliffs is really nice. Zion was good too. We drove there one day.
It was really pretty.
Yeah.
It was busy though.
Yeah.
Didn't do any hiking there other than the one along the base,
Arus.
which is considered like the least pretty, but still was really gorgeous. That hike, the dogs were allowed to go on. That's why we did that hike. Drove all the way up and through the tunnel.
Yep. We
Really
got on the other
pretty.
side. We turned around.
Yep, we learned our lesson at Glacier that it's probably better to turn around and come back.
I like the tunnel we went through. That is cool.
It was the same.
No one else wanted to be like this, but I did.
We went into
No.
St. George, which was the bigger city nearby, a couple times. Oh,
You're
that's right.
cold.
Culver's!
Culver's!
Culver's.
Okay.
Next time we see one. I saw one a few days ago. And I
There's probably a good chunk of you that do know what Culver's is, but for those of you that don't,
A
it's
good
possibly the-
Wisconsin restaurant.
Yes, it is possibly-
It is the best
yes,
out to eat food
yes, yes.
We went to Halloween for trick or treating.
Yeah,
It's not
that
quite
was.
the same, but it was something.
We bought our pumpkins there.
ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pumpkins, got compliments on your pumpkins. Played shuffleboard there.
Yeah.
We mini golf there as well. There's mini golf down below.
We played pool football.
The only thing I didn't like about it is Truck had to park by himself way down at the bottom because we didn't have space. Chuck didn't like it.
Are you okay,
I
buddy?
think we went somewhere else.
Oh, hold on, buddy. Hold on.
Just down the
Go
road.
ahead.
We
That's
walked
just your
down the
fur.
road down to the river.
Buddy, calm down.
Yeah, that goes it.
Okay,
Just making
and
sure
then
you're
we
okay.
went to another nice place in. We actually
Making
stayed
sure
in
you're okay,
Wauwee,
buddy.
which is just outside, basically Page, Arizona.
I think it's just the campground.
What?
The
Well,
campground is just one.
No, I think there's a city called.
Okay.
No, we were just a campground.
It's a national recreation area that we stayed
And
in.
that was right. We stayed right on Lake Powell,
Yeah.
with some of the biggest boats and yachts parked there that I've ever seen. That was a really nice campground. A lot of it was even paved, but there were so many goat heads.
Everywhere.
We actually ended up driving into town to find some grassy area. What was that place that we kept?
That was the Glen Canyon
The
Visitor
visitor center had a nice patch of grass that we
They
could go in and walk
just
around.
liked it.
So okay, so like Powell was there,
We
Glen
hiked.
Canyon was
Hot
there.
air balloons.
Yes.
Hot air
The
balloon.
dam, couple different hikes, Horseshoe Bend. Okay, let me talk about hot air balloon and then you guys can all talk about the rest. When we were checking in at the campground, Belle happened to notice a flyer about a hot air balloon festival, and we looked at it closer, and it was the weekend that we were there. And they were to launch for 4 days, and early in the morning. And the first day they were supposed to launch, it rained. The second day, we went in to watch them launch, and we saw like everybody was leaving and not sitting up, and then figured out that they decided it was potentially going to be too windy. Third day, Jason and Annabelle went in early because they often needed volunteers to help, and thought that would be a cool experience to help be on a crew. They weren't needed because there was a lot of people that day, but the boys and I went in, and then we all watched. How many?
Then we got hash
They-
browns from
So-
McDonald's.
There were potentially 66 there at the festival. They didn't all launch from the same area, but
So cool to
Yep.
see them all inflate and then take off, and pretty scenery with the red cliffs, in their surroundings. And then at night, they had the downtown area. I don't know, 15, 20 of the balloons all lined up in a row, and it was dark. But you could walk right up. You could look up into their balloons. You could talk to the pilots if you wanted to, but then they would sometimes pull their fuel or gas, or whatever it is,
Oh,
and it would shoot the flames, and it would all light up the street, and that was super awesome, and also reminiscent for me because that was our very first family vacation years ago. Is when we went on a balloon festival.
Indianola.
Also, there was a
Never
lot of
tell them
people
about
there.
Guys who's
Okay, so
gotta tell
the hiking.
Emmett wants to make sure that we mention we did find there was one hot air balloon captain from Wisconsin, so we found his balloon and watched him take off.
hiking.
I
We
mean, a couple
hiked
different places. Some
the first day, the first full day we were there. Ethan, Dad, the puppies, and I went and hiked. I don't know what the hike was called, but it was just cool because you kind of got to go up on the sides of the canyon and stuff and look down at everything, and that was really cool. And then we did a family hike a couple days later, Hanging Garden, and that was also cool. It was like a simple, easy hike, but it was still cool because you got to see all the rocks and everything.
Horseshoe Bend.
Oh, I forgot about that place.
Horseshoe Bend was more of a formal touristy area that a lot of people would go to.
When the lady at the visitor center said people come from all over the world to see it, I was like, it's probably gonna be overrated.
From all over the
Yeah,
world.
they were
I
from
fell
all
down
over the
trying
world.
to get down the big rock. I fell down and hurt
We climbed
myself.
up pretty high on that one spot, and then to get back down.
Yeah, that was about
Did see a few balloons come over our campground the next day as we were packing up to leave to go to, I will not forget it this time, Cameron, Arizona. Which
Cameron.
I always forget.
Cameron is just a dinky little town with a trading post, which is actually really neat. And they have hotel rooms there, and across the road from all of that is where the campground was.
Is that the place where we got the really good shade?
Yes.
Yes.
That shake was so good, but I didn't get a whole lot of it.
What kind of shake was it?
I think it was a prickly pear.
Prickly pear cactus.
Prickly
We actually
pear
bought
cactus.
syrup so we could make them ourselves.
And tried the Navajo fry bread.
Yeah.
That was pretty
That
good.
was okay.
I'm just sad because I
Well,
didn't
we
get to
walked
eat there
home and it was
very
cold
much of that
so
steak
probably
at all.
What do you mean? That was
And we
pretty
didn't stay
odd.
there a long time. It was just a couple days, right?
Yeah.
I remember.
It was literally like 2
Because
nights.
we went to the
Grand Canyon,
Canyon.
which is also overrated.
Yeah.
It was
Grand,
cool.
so to me, the Grand Canyon was very different from a lot of the other national parks that we had done because, like Mount Rainier and Glacier and Yellowstone and Rocky Mountain, all those had like hikes to do. The Grand Canyon was a lot different. I mean, there were hikes there, but for the most part, it was just quick little pull-offs. Watchtower was neat.
or you could do the major hike to commit
Right,
to
rim
go
to rim.
walking
Yeah,
down,
to go down. Yeah, you could do that too.
Wait,
But
hold
there
on.
wasn't really a whole lot of intermediate. We didn't do.
Remember the picture that I took?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
They're pretending to
Oh yeah,
fall off.
falling off the yeah. So yeah, we went to the Grand Canyon.
It was cool, but I mean,
It
it was
was-
just like every other canyon we've
No,
seen.
it was not.
It was
It
just
was so
big.
big it didn't even look like a canyon.
Yeah, it was just big.
It was just a giant
It was.
hole
It was
in
not
the
just
ground.
big. It was grand.
The only other national park I've been to that's more overrated than that one is Mount Rushmore.
Yes.
No, you were so wrong.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Mount Rushmore is amazing.
I
No, it's
don't
not.
know.
It's
Okay,
not.
I was
It's
born
really
in
Then,
not.
because Arizona was so full, so many people coming to Arizona, we needed to also get further down a little farther south because snow was coming in the higher elevations, and because we're so big, we don't fit in a lot of the state parks. We ended up at our next location for like 12 days, and that was Camp Verde.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that place.
So Camp Verde, we stayed at I don't know,
Verde Ranch. Or,
It was-
Yeah.
practically a brand new resort, and it was a very nice place to be for 12 days.
We also
Really
had
nice,
shit.
cool.
Very
trails,
nice. Who's
streams.
best part again?
Stuff was paved, but from there we went to Sedona.
Sedona. Yeah. Yeah, that was probably the highlight. We did the
Of
big
Camp Verde.
of Camp Verde.
We,
I mean, we hiked elsewhere. And Ethan and I mountain
He's
biked.
talking.
We went to the Grand Canyon from Camp Verde.
No, louder.
No, it didn't.
No, we didn't. The Grand Canyon was first.
Oh, we forgot to tell them about the horses that we saw at the other camp place. At the other place.
Or Cameron.
Yeah.
Horses. Oh,
Yeah,
wild
horses,
horses. Yeah.
They
Okay.
just walk up.
Sedona, though, we went on a massive, like literally hike. Like, no, not too much farther, and you probably would have needed equipment. I mean, we hiked up stuff, and we hiked down stuff, and we hiked narrow stuff, and we hiked high stuff, and so I think that was a pretty big accomplishment for us.
Oh yeah, that wasn't. I didn't know.
We went, so a lot of the places, it's really nice to not go to necessarily all the touristy places, but go to something similar nearby, and it's almost often better, I'm finding, I think. So we took pictures of some of the big touristy places in Sedona, but we hiked on a different path thanks to the guy at the
Red Cliff is
Mike? But Mike
Mike.
Ward. Mike Ward is fun.
We also went to
Beaver Creek.
Tonto Basin, the dwellings, and Beaver Creek.
Cave dwellings were neat. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
You gotta say what they are.
That came from.
I mean,
So,
yeah.
Yeah,
but-
they're there.
Come on, guys. We have 3 more. You can
Okay,
give-
so
give
the
an
cave
input.
dwellings are where.
Shelters built in the caves up in,
Oh my
up in
gosh.
the mountains.
Okay.
It was a national recreation area. They had some cool things. They had a reconstruction
Don't need to
of
yell about
the
that.
dwellings that the native people
Wasn't it reconstruction?
lived
That
in.
was original.
Yes, no, it wasn't.
No,
he
it
said it was
wasn't.
reconstructed
They
in
had
the
to
80s.
reconstruct it.
And then the actually cool part about that place was the lake.
There was also a
Like
tarantula
Roosevelt.
on the way up
The
there.
tarantula. Yep.
And
I
the saguaro.
like
We saw it in the
Yeah,
cast.
I saw
Yeah,
The
another
ones
dam
that are
there,
normally
too.
hundreds of years old.
So what?
Another dam.
The dam.
Yeah, the Roosevelt Dam.
No?
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of prickly pear cactuses, the flatter, rounder, more
Well, no,
shrubby
Roosevelt
sort of
Lake.
style. A lot of places. But the saguaro cactuses must only live in certain conditions or even facing a different or one direction. I was kind of trying to realize. Beaver Creek,
We went on the Bell Trail.
yes.
It
And
was-
supposedly if you went all the way back, that was really cool. We didn't
They
go
don't
far.
play.
But we did find the rocks when we drove a little farther. We
Dang it.
drove the rocks that we had to climb on.
No, they were.
That was cool.
We biked there. Me and Dad did sort of like
That was a rough trail.
I don't remember anything else there.
popcorn.
Him and I went in and played baseball.
Okay.
Oh, that was Benson.
How about Benson, Arizona?
Is
That was mostly a
Thanksgiving?
chill spot. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
chill
It
out.
was a
K-O-A!
K-O-A! K-O-A!
Actually, that was the worst KOA of them all.
it's being
bruh.
revitalized.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was a KOA or before and kind of got run down and they're redoing it, but it was decent. Just gravel roads to walk around now. The dogs really like the dog park. So we're still at that ball.
I was about to
Right.
say,
Yeah.
Zoomer's favorite part was the blue ball that he had in the
We
that
still
was
have
in
it.
the
It's
dog
somewhere.
park. He really, really wanted to keep it, and so we just said, you know what, Zoomer, you can have it.
And so we
And
brought
he
it
was
back,
so
and now
happy.
he still plays with it from here to there.
We just don't know where it went. 'Cause he
It might
lost
be
it.
in the car.
My cousin came
Probably.
for a visit. We celebrated Thanksgiving, which was our first. We had birthday and we had Halloween, but then Thanksgiving, kind of the biggest holiday.
So
We celebrated on our own in shorts at a picnic table outside.
And by playing
Not-
Monopoly,
Not your typical Thanksgiving. We went on a really rough, could have been better hike. A lot of complaining.
I don't remember that.
The trophy
Karshner.
hike at Karshner Caverns.
Oh yeah.
It was just hot, like really hot, sweaty. Scenery was kind of dried up at that point. It was a hard hike, not our hardest, but because of everybody's attitudes, it was kind of an extra hard hike. But then you guys went back and did the actual cavern tour.
that was fun. I like caves.
Yeah, but it was really hot, and I almost felt
I
like
don't
Yeah.
like
wasn't allowed, so
spelunking,
we
but
were-
I like
we were almost
caves.
done. I
So
felt
the
heavy.
difference between the Midwest and the Southwest, in terms of the caves, because they both have limestone caves. But back home, the caves stay about 40 degrees year round, whereas in the Southwest, they stay about 70 degrees year round. So 70 degrees and roughly 100% humidity down there.
So we kind of just ditched everything that would affect us, like if it was cold outside. We just kind of ditched that in the car and just walked over in shorts and t-shirts.
We have no pictures because you guys weren't allowed to take
Nope.
anything in there. No cameras, no water bottles. We went into town, into Sierra Vista. Went to a little shopping, Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby! We got a Christmas tree.
No,
Yeah.
that wasn't Flagstaff.
Those are
Yeah.
Flagstaff.
I wanted to
We
go.
put it up.
I don't know
I
what
wanted
they
to go on
call
Old
We did
Navy,
put
but
up
they
the
said
decorations.
no.
Put up the decorations in Benson. I drove truck to the post office in Benson.
Yeah.
It was a lot of just hanging out at the campground.
Dad left for like 7 hours.
Yeah, I went to Amanda's cousin
Yeah.
for Thanksgiving.
Then he arrived back at
Two.
like 1 in the morning. Don't ask me why I was still up.
We got back at like a
The second to last to where we are right now, we went to Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Good riddance, Arizona!
I like do you like New
And
Mexico?
Las Cruces was a.
K-O-A!
K.
Would you like to say anything about Las Cruces?
I don't remember.
How about the white sands?
There was these white sand dunes, and we hung out at one of them for quite a while. The dogs liked running up and down, and we tried sledding. That didn't really work though.
It did too. I got too. It worked a little
Good for
bit.
you.
That was like an hour away, but that's when we were at
Phil.
Las Cruces.
Phil, you want to talk about your favorite thing that KOA had?
I don't.
No? No?
Was that the Roadrunner one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there was. Oh, the Christmas lights.
Yeah, they were decked
Decked
out
out.
for Christmas.
Yeah,
He
but
means
I
the
was talking about the
pastries.
pastries, child.
Oh!
Free coffee and pastries every morning.
That one's very fun.
Not
Big
free.
fan of
They
that.
charged us more. I don't think it was I don't think there's a handful of places that were more expensive, but they charged us more per kid, and most places don't do that.
Yeah, but if you do that, as long as
Those
you get
pastries
free,
weren't free.
if like they were.
Okay, they
were
were
and they
free,
weren't.
but they weren't.
We paid for them in our bill.
Oh.
Prepaid. Whether you took them or not, we paid the same price. Christmas decorations.
They were decked out in Christmas decorations, which was really fun.
Zoe tried to leave her mark on the wet cement in the dog park.
It was brand new. Ethan, you want to comment on the view of the city lights?
There was a good view of the city lit up at night, and there's this one thing on like a hill we eventually found out, but it was just elevated lights above the rest of them, and we couldn't figure out what it was for a couple of days.
We went
We don't
think we
to
ever
a
figured out
Christmas
what
tree
it
I
lighting.
don't know exactly what it was. We figured out where it was, and you could see different towers.
We went to a Christmas tree lighting around where.
That was just downtown Las Cruces.
Yeah. We also went to a comic book shop there. I liked that comic book shop.
We
It
went
had
to.
I don't know if you're visible on or not.
probably not, but I don't care.
We went. Mom, Dad, and I went to the farmers market on Saturday morning, which was cute. But the best part was right on the block that the farmers market was on was this huge used bookstore, and that was really cool.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the recycled Roadrunner that was at the rest area?
I don't.
Yes,
The Roadrunner that was made out of all that.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know what to talk about.
What was it made out of?
It was made out of recyclables.
Lots of stuff, right?
Yeah.
What
There
are
was
some
a
of the things that you
Sega
remember
Genesis
being
in that.
There was a keyboard.
I don't want to.
There was tires. There was golf
Sweaty.
clubs. There was
Warm.
tennis rackets, shoes, crutches,
all sorts of stuff.
car headlights.
This giant sculpture made out of recycled materials, right? And then you want to say something else? Oh. White Sands.
That was a
pretty cool.
national park.
Yeah.
I don't think you can say that.
And some of these things we have specific. We talk about more of them in the vlogs or the travel day talk shows. But that brings us to where we are at the moment.
I get to announce it. My favorite state, Texas. We're in Van Horn.
Texas.
Texas.
Also, guess what? This was a KOA, but now it's not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Also, I'd like to say, they didn't even try to make an effort to make it, like, not recognizable.
There's
There's a bunch of goat heads and stuff, which is not good, but, like, with the signs, they just covered up the logo and left
Yeah.
everything else.
yeah in the men's bathroom. There's just a piece of tape going underneath the overtop to KO.
Yeah.
There's so much potential for this campground now, but they just don't care.
They really don't
Yeah, as
seem to.
far as being here, we've done nothing and we'll do nothing. There's just nothing really around for a few hours in any direction. To drive here, we drove through El Paso, which was really big, and got to wave to Mexico. Tonight, actually, hopefully, Belle and I found earlier when we went to the post office that downtown they had their own little holiday light area with a pretty big tree. Like hopefully go see that lit up. But other than that, we have not left the campground. We've just been chilling.
I haven't left the campground.
And we'll be in Texas for a month. So, and then
I want to be here for my birthday, but no, they said.
Listen, all right. So that's the second 15 of our the second video of the first 30, the first 4 months. This is the second 15. This is number 16 through 30 of all the places that we've been.
That was rough.
That was thoroughly followable. Now we must feed the children dinner.
Oh, Texas!
Okay, goodbye now.